Good job.
I turned off stuff.
All right, we got a lot of crap. All right, so the circular flow diagram. All right, all I'm going to say you need to know for the unit test basically is the outside is the money. Okay? You don't have to really know the specifics. Know that the product and factor are opposite. Product market like mall, and then households and firms. Be sure to know that firms demand from the product market, firms supply the product market and households demand in the product market. And that it gets flipped. In the factor market, households supply the factors of production and firms demand. All right? I wouldn't go crazy. I would say, if anything, I could see a question or two on this. Okay? Okay. Just a definition of economics. It's a social science concerned. So it's a social science concerned with the use of limited resources to achieve maximum satisfaction. And so you could end up studying scarcity. All right, and scarcity is where our wants are greater than, so unlimited wants with limited resources. Unlimited wants with limited resources. Okay, and there's my scarcity. Just to remind you. Okay, so every society faces these three questions. So it doesn't matter if you have a command economy, a market economy, you face these questions. What goods and services should be, so what should be produced, how should they be produced, and who consumes, okay? So those are the three basic economic questions that every society. What should be produced, how should they be produced, and who's going to consume it? Okay. All right, so you have trade-offs. So all decisions involve trade-offs, okay? So they are everything you gave up to being here. So sleeping with your friends, eating breakfast, all of the other things you could have done instead of being here are trade-offs. So they're all the alternatives that we give up, okay? And then opportunity cost is the most desirable. And I got to be honest, sometimes the College Board, they work a slippery slope. They almost interchange opportunity costs and trade-offs, but they'll never, they'll make it clear. Because they'll only give you one of them as a choice. Okay? All right, the invisible hand is Adam Smith. And basically what the invisible hand says is that if left alone, the market will self-correct because individuals will seek their own interest. So if people are motivated by self-interest, that will make them make better products because competition, and then try to give you the best prices. Okay? So competition and self-interest regulate the free market. Okay. The next thing is laissez-faire. Well, laissez-faire is hands-off. It's a government keeping their hands off the market. Let the market regulate itself. And that's what laissez-faire is. And ceteris paribus is all things being the same. All things being the same. So when we're doing like the production possibilities curve, and they say that technology improves, they're asking you, what to do to the curve, being that everything stays the same except technology improvement. Okay? So therefore you only have to deal with one factor. Alright. You have micro versus macro. Micro is what we're doing now in its households, firms, and industries. It's kind of the, small snapshot. And macro is more like how things affect the country and the world. You then have your positive. Positive statements are based on facts and avoids value judgment. So, okay? When normative, they are value judgments. So positive statement is unemployment is 7%. And then a normative statement would be what, reasons why unemployment is that high. Okay. All right, just remember marginal is additional. So when it's talking about marginal analysis, marginal benefits have to equal or be greater than marginal cost. Marginal benefits have to be equal or greater than marginal cost. So if I'm going shopping and the benefit of buying a shirt is $15 and the shirt is $13, I'm going to buy it. If the shirt's $18, I'm not going to buy it. Okay? So marginal benefits have to be equal or greater than marginal cost. And you think about that even like when you're studying, will that extra hour of studying benefit me enough? Alright, so you got the four factors of production. One is land, and land is any natural resource. Any natural resource. Capital is the one they try to trick you on the most. Because capital is tools and equipment and factories used to make things. It is not money. Not money. All right? You invest in capital for long-term economic growth. The third is labor. And then the fourth is entrepreneur. Those are people who start new businesses. There's a sheet there if you want. Okay? All right. There's your production possibilities curve. All right. If it is bowed out, we know that there's increasing opportunity cost. All right. And why is it increasing? Because resources are not adaptable. So it's bowed out, we have increasing opportunity cost, and we know that because resources are not easily adaptable. Anything on this line, A, B, C, D, and E, is what we call productively efficient. We're using our resources efficiently to the maximum and at the least cost. Anything inside the line is inefficient, usually caused by unemployment. Right? Remember, if you're inside, if I'm at A here, or E, or F rather, if I'm at F here and I go to C, that's not a shift of the curve, that's just going from inefficient to efficient, and there's zero opportunity cost. Anything outside is unattainable with current resources. Now, if this is a straight line, then we know it's constant opportunity cost, and the reason why it's constant, easily adaptable resources, calzones and pizza. Okay. There are, we did this just to remind you, your opportunity cost, and I think you guys did really well on this, so just to put this up there. Really to get the smiley face, isn't it? Come on. Okay. I talked about the constant opportunity cost, that's the straight line. And we talked about the increasing opportunity cost, that's the bold line, okay? All right, the three shifters. One, change in resource quantity or quality. More people in our population, that's quantity. Better education, that's quality. Technology. Those two really drive the changes, okay? So I'd say 98% of production possibility curve questions hinge around those two, and the third is trade. If it is not one of these three, you can't shift the curve. Okay? So unemployment is not one of these three. All right? Demand, not one of these three. So those don't shift the curve. All right, and then I'm going to skip through. Okay. Do I have two types of efficiency? Yes, great. All right, productive efficiency are products that are being produced in the least costly way. Everything on the production possibilities curve is productively efficient. Allocative efficiency is what society wants. Bring this on for this one. Thank you. Okay? Now, you cannot find the allocative efficiency on the production possibilities curve. You don't have enough information. So if they ask you on the test what's the allocative efficiency, the answer would be like E, need more information. Okay? Alright, and these are kind of the examples we did in class, so I'm going to just skip through this to make sure we cover everything. Okay, where are we? Alright. International trade. Alright. Alright, so why do countries trade?
I need a custodian to call into the office, please. I need a custodian to call into the office.
Alright, countries trade so they could specialize in what they have the lowest opportunity cost in. So say the United States could specialize in wheat, they have a low opportunity cost, and then they'll trade with another country so it benefits them. Okay? Alright, absolute advantage, the producer that can produce either the most outputs or requires the least amount of inputs. Okay? So it's the most outputs or the least amount of inputs. Absolute advantage has nothing to do with trade. So the United States can have the absolute advantage in everything with a country and still want to trade with another country. Comparative advantage is the lower
Good morning, we
opportunity
need a
cost.
custodian to open room 201, please.
All right. So whoever has the comparative advantage, the lowest opportunity cost, they want to specialize in that. They want to make more of it, and they want to export it. All right. So countries should trade if they have a lower opportunity cost. So, okay. All right. Now, if they're telling you tons of wheat, that means it's an output. So it'd be ooh, output other over. So what do I mean? God bless you. We're looking for wheat, who has the comparative advantage. So I look at the USA, the other is sugar, 30 over 30, that's 1. I look at Brazil for wheat, the other is sugar, 20 over 10 is 2. 1 is the lower number, therefore I know the United States should specialize in wheat and Brazil then sugar. Comparative advantage, you could only have 1, okay? So for the United States to trade like the wheat, they'd have to get more than 1 ton, of sugar, because that's what, that's their trade. All right, now, let me just reverse this for a second. Say instead of tons, this said acres needed for 1 ton of sugar and 1 ton of wheat. If it's acres needed, it's then an input question. An input would be other under. You're still looking for your lowest opportunity cost. Okay? And on the practice test I'll post today, there is there's questions on inputs and output for comparative advantage, so you could practice those. All right, so you got your 3 economic systems here. Let's see what I have. Centrally planned, all right, owns all the resources. They decide the 3 questions we talked about earlier. So centrally planned, which is like command economy, okay? They own all the resources, they decide the 3 questions. And there's Cuba, China, North Korea, okay? Now, one of the strengths are you can move a lot faster. Because, you know, the government says do this and everyone has to do it. And the free market system or the market economy, little government involvement, individuals answer. Firms, households, they answer the 3 economic questions. An opportunity to make profit gives people incentives. So there are those. I'll just leave that there for a second. I got one.